Hey, how's it going? Today we're going to talk about last photos from people that happened on eerie circumstances or death. Let's begin on this happy journey. This will be short but not so sweet catalogs of images of people. Photographer Robert Landsberg captured the wall of ash that would kill him when Mount St. Helens erupted. He managed to protect the film with his body. Here's the crew of Space Shuttle Challenger on their way to board. Challenger broke apart 73 seconds into its flight, killing all 7 crew members. I read some reports as well that they survived until they hit the ground, where they released some audio, and it's quite horrifying to hear. Well, to read. They didn't release the audio itself, just the transcript. Mayana Nsika, a nurse, is depicted here during an Ebola outbreak in 1976. Her dedication meant that she eventually contracted the disease herself and passed away not long after. The Omaha bombing. The red car in this photograph contained a bomb that killed 29 people and injured some 220 others. The man and child both survived. The photographer didn't. 14-year-old Keith Sapford Hild in the wheel of a flight leaving Sydney toward Japan. John Glipson, an amateur photographer, was testing his new camera lens and unwittingly caught Keith's plunge to his death, which was over 200 feet. William Dave Sanders, guiding more than 100 students out of the cafeteria during Columbine High School massacre. He was later shot twice in the chest and didn't survive, unfortunately. Last image of Flight 571 before crashing in the Andes on the 10th of 13th of 1972. Out of 45 people survived the initial crash. Survivors were eventually forced to cannibalize the dead and stay alive. 16 people were rescued 72 days later. Dave Halley took one last photo of his wife and 4-year-old daughter before takeoff for their dream vacation aboard MH17, shortly before it was shot down over Ukraine by Russia-led forces, killing everybody on board. A dash cam captured this moment before a Transia Flight 235 crashed in the Keelung River in Taiwan. The plane carried 58 people. Only 15 survived. Gilius Lekra and Marina Lebanon took a selfie at the Bakshin Theater as they waited to see the Eagles of death metal to perform. Moments later, 4 gunmen stormed in and started shooting. Gills was killed in the attack, but Marina survived. Robert Overcracker, a professional stuntman, drove a jet ski over Niagara Falls to raise awareness to homeless back in 1995. This photo was snapped just as his parachute failed to deploy, sending him down to his death. Here's the last moments of Hamburger, a gorilla killed after a child fell into an enclosure at the Cincinnati Zoo in 2016. Wes Milford took the photo while on a hike in New Jersey, moments before a bear attacked him and killed him. Nicholas Malvey, at his last free dive, he was attempting to dive at 236 feet deep. He completed the dive, surfaced, gave the OK sign, tried to speak, and then passed out. He never regained consciousness and died the same day. This unsuspecting family snapped this last moment of Enwa Tokunasa's life. The 20-year-old student in red threw herself over the railing outside the Niagara Falls to her death. Here's Archduke Ferdinand and his wife, Sophie, 1 hour before they were shot and killed by a nationalist. The event caused World War I. In 1978, Pacific Southwest Airlines Flight 182 tragically crashed into a small private Cessna 172 plane and fell from the sky. This picture captures the plane as right before it hit the ground. This photograph was recovered in Japan as Airlines Flight 123 after a crash. In total, 520 passengers and crew died. Only 4 people survived. So Christopher McCandless, the man from Into the Wild, here's his final self-portrait. His decomposed body was found by moose hunters in 1992. He lived in an abandoned bus for over 100 days. His cause of death was officially ruled as starvation, but the exact cause is still debated. It could be from berries as well. This photo shows parkour enthusiast Pavel Kashin performing the trick that would lead to his death. He's pictured attempting to backflip to the wall, but he would soon lose his balance and fall to the ground below. James Dean is seen here getting gas for his Porsche 550 Spider, not long before he crashed it and died. Legend has it the car is cursed, and it was involved in several more accidents before disappearing in the 60s. Here's one of the last known photographs of the Titanic afloat. It sank on April 15th of 1912 after colliding with an iceberg. There were an estimated 2,224 passengers and crew aboard. More than 1,500 didn't survive. I read an interesting article that the reason was because a person didn't have the keys on board for the binoculars. And that person also fell asleep in London when he wasn't knowingly going to be on board the Titanic. I'll probably do a deep dive on that because it's very interesting. I never heard of that until a couple months ago. The Concorde crash. Moments after takeoff, one of the plane's engines caught on fire, causing the plane to crash into a nearby hotel, and it killed 113 people. Here's Princess Diana of Wales, her bodyguard, Trevor Jones, her driver, Henry Paul, shortly on the night on August 31st of 1997, right before the fatal crash. George Mallory and Sandy Irvin, just before they began their ascent of Mount Everest in 1924, still debated if they reached the top. Either way, they never made it back down. Here's Paul Walker climbing into the car that eventually crashed and taking his life in 2013. The band Great White playing at Rhode Island Station nightclub just before their pyrotechnics caused fire that killed more than 100 people. In this last photo, you can see the destructive fireworks on display. R. Bud Dwyer was the treasurer of Pennsylvania between 1981 and 1987, before being accused of bribery and withholding taxes. He shot himself on live television trial, watched by millions. I've seen the video myself. It is a lot of blood and very sickening, to say the least. If you need help, please call someone. Joseph Avery crashed his boat in the Niagara River. 2 other men died immediately, but Avery managed to cling to a rock for the 18 hours waiting for a rescue boat. Unfortunately, the boat capsized almost immediately after Avery managed killing him. And that's all of the last photographs taken of these people for this momentarily. If you like this video, God forbid, hope you don't like it for the wrong reasons, I will probably make some more or deep dive into other stories of these stories, such as the Challenger, which is quite interesting in itself. Thank you, and I hope you have a great day. Live long and prosper. Have a great one. Bye.